Hi and welcome to my channel. I wasn't going to make a video today, but yesterday I sat and watched Adrian Cross's latest video. Check it out, guys. Adrian's channel is really good. It's Adrian's EP reviews. Adrian's from England, um, and he'd received, I guess, some negative reviews or a negative review um, about an LP that he was showing. Um, and I've actually got the LP, and I have no issue with it at all. I agree 100% with Adrian's um, review on it. I think it's spot on. But it got me thinking about how we perceive things at times. I guess is the right way to put it. Um, we're very lucky as Oilers fans. We've got a guy that's been gone for 49 years this year. Hadn't recorded anything new for 50 years. And yet we have a wealth of material that's popping up on the internet and in shops and that dedicated shops as well for sale on a unbelievable scale. To be honest, I mean, how often you see not complaints, but yeah, you see people saying, "Look, I can't keep up." There's just too much coming out, and everyone wants it because why not? Well, you ain't got it, you're going to want it, and I'm no different. But what it got me thinking about was I'll show you three CDs and then I'll explain a little bit more. This is the first one. Try not to get too much glare on it, guys, for you, but a little bit hard where I am. Discs. It's a they're all two discs, so I won't open all of them up. But I won't read out the track listing because it's not really part of what I'm. It's irrelevant, the track listing. But this particular disc is from January the 26th, 1973, Las Vegas, the 8th season at Las Vegas. Um, this is the same. This is the 8th season. Sorry, I didn't read out the second disc. That's January the 22nd, 7th, sorry, 1973, the dinner show. Then I have here January the 27th, midnight show, and January the 28th, the midnight show. And I just so you get a bit of a feel, pretty good. I've wrapped with these. I bought these from a website we have here in Australia called Elvis Australia. Look it up. Um, Quite often they'll have stuff that's sold out in other places and that. Even though he has just changed his the way he does things at the moment, which I'm still getting my head around as well. But yeah, if you can't find it somewhere, have a look on his site, mate. You probably find it. And that's the third one. Love that shot. And this is February the 9th dinner show and February the 9th midnight show. Okay. Now, I played these, love them. To me, they sound great. I have no issue with them whatsoever. And they're all audience recordings. Now, I know you get good recordings and you get bad recordings because it's all determined where the person sat, the sort of equipment they had, the mic they had, changing tape, all that sort of thing comes into it. Excuse me. As far as I'm aware, season 8 hasn't been released anywhere else. Now, this set here that I've got was limited to 160, and I think I paid 120, somewhere around about Australian dollars for it, plus some postage. Maybe a little bit on the high side, but I looked at it. It was limited. I hadn't seen it anywhere else. I don't know if Chris in London has it. No idea. All right. So if you know of season 8 released anywhere else, please just drop a line in the comments. I'll be really interested to know. And if it's audience recording or if it's not, if it's a soundboard. Now, what I'm getting at is, if I didn't buy these, even though they're audience recordings, I wouldn't have them. And to me, I'm better to have something than nothing. So beginning of 73, I can pick up one of these and listen to Elvis in concert, hear what he had to say, what he sung, how the audience reacted, the whole kit and caboodle. I'm not going to pass up just because it's an audience recording. If it's a bad audience recording, okay, I look for an upgrade. The same as what you do with a vinyl. You buy a vinyl with a ripped cover and scratches on it. You might take it because I haven't got anything in my collection. So I will take it. I'll buy it and I'll just look for an upgrade. To me, with the audience recordings, same thing. There's no doubt been a lot of audience recordings in the past that have now been released on MRS, tidied up, or on FTD. To me, it's the same, but I'm not going to pass up on something that I don't have just because it's a home recording. I know a lot of people don't like home recordings, or that just seems to be, that's probably a little bit too much of a bold statement, but it seems, my impression is that a lot of people don't seem to like home recordings. To me, it's better than nothing. Like I said, I look for an upgrade. We all have different opinions. Some people love these, some people don't. I've got, some people would buy that. These are concerts from 71. Other people won't. That's what makes a collector. That's what a collector is. We all have different opinions on things, but we shouldn't shoot each other down because we think that an audience recording sounds good, but to you it doesn't. I mean, it depends on what you're playing it on too. If you got top of the line stuff, a home recording might sound like crap. But if you've got, just the basic, it might sound perfectly fine. You run it through your TV, it might sound fine. And to be honest, that's what I've had to do with all my CDs. I have to run them through the TV because I don't have a stereo system to be able to play CDs. My records is played on what I call the suitcase. It's like a 1950s old record player, that plays 45, 78s, 33s. Don't have any 78s, but well, I do back home, but I don't here. I don't buy them because I don't want them getting broken in the postage. The old kangaroos aren't too gentle when they stuck things in their pouches and start hopping around the countryside. So yeah, I just go and have a look at Adrian's last two videos because he's just posted one where he talked about what the person said about the previous one. Go and have a look at the LP. You may have it. It's MRS, and we all know MRS is pretty good. I just think, I can't think of any other artist that nearly 50 years after they died, 49 years after they died, 50 years since they last recorded new material, where stuff is getting pumped out by the record company and now the public domain on a volume like it is. Certainly not. I mean, we Buddy Holly certainly didn't have the category. Carl Perkins, all those guys from the 50s. The only artist that I can think of that had a reasonably large catalogue, probably a little bit compared to Elvis's, was Jerry Lee Lewis. But then you don't see anywhere near this sort of stuff coming out for Jerry Lee Lewis. Elvis's home, his house, for goodness sake, is the second most visited place in America. I can't think of another artist that's happened to. Um, so I think we just need to appreciate, and again, all this is just my opinion. Don't shoot me down. It's just my opinion. But I think we just all need to be a little bit more appreciative of what we're getting. If you don't want home recordings, don't buy them. It's just like if you don't want the latest sessions, don't buy it. That's not the latest, but that's just an example. I'm too lazy to get the last one out. But there are collectors out there that I like to get a cross section of things. I get on the country bandwagon at times, and I'll collect everything from one country. But I always get the sessions, and I always get the FTDs, and I always get the MRSs because I know what I'm getting, and then I fill in everywhere else. Things that catch my eye, I'll buy. Not everyone collects that way. So I think everyone just has to understand that whatever's said on a YouTube channel is that person's opinion at that time, and they welcome the comments back. I hope I get a few comments about this one, because I'll be really interested just to see what people think about what I've said. We are extremely lucky fans. We get everything that we want, basically. We're getting a new film. I haven't really talked much about Epic because I'm sort of trying to push it to the back of my mind because I can't go and see it in February. I'm going to basically wait till it streams, and then if we can get it on streaming here, or I'm going to have to wait, DVD, 4K sort of scenario. So I'm not going to be able to get to, pictures, so I don't want to watch anyone else with their tickets and then, being over the moon about it, because you probably can't say this on YouTube, but it pisses me off because I'm not one of them, and I really want to be. But that's okay because I've waited for the footage for just as many years as you guys have as well. So I think just we need to enjoy what we've got. And YouTube is a prime example as well. There's another one. How many other YouTube channels out there for other artists are there? I haven't actually looked, but I don't think there'd be as many dedicated to anyone else as there is with Elvis, to be honest. Shops, that just sell Elvis. When was the last time you were walking down your main street and you came across a shop that was just selling Buddy Holly? Or Jerry Lee Lewis, or the Rolling Stones, or Led Zeppelin. Um, there might be one out there for the Beatles, possibly, but I think we're pretty lucky, and we need to recognise that. But that's all I wanted to say, guys. Nothing. I just felt that we sometimes maybe did a little bit take things for granted, that everything should be top-notch sound quality, and it's never going to be, unless they start attacking it with AI. Quite possibly AI would clean up the home recordings. I personally am against AI interfering with Elvis's music, even to the point of really cleaning up an audience recording, because I think when that person went in there and recorded it live, when they went to the concert, this is the atmosphere, this is the experience on it. Um, about the only thing I'd be probably truly happy with, and even then, yeah. So I'm just like some of yous, as well. Like if maybe some of the home recordings they cleaned up with AI, along the lines of what they've done with John Lennon, where the other three managed to make three new Beatle singles. Um, but then I would have, yeah, again, it would be up to me whether I bought them or not, if I wanted them in my collection, if I thought that they were good enough to be. Um, so anyway, I'll leave it at that, and you guys have a good rest of your day or your night, and please drop a few comments. I haven't really had a lot of comments, and I'm really keen to just find out what you guys think, and that, am I way offline? Am I miles out in the out in the desert? As the wind and the dust finally got to me and curdled my brain. I don't know. It does get pretty windy out here at times and dusty. Has the heat finally got to me, and I've just gone right off left field? Um, Let me know, and you all have a good day. Catch us later. Bye.